Hi, everybody. Today is August 4th, and we are telling stories of and remembering here in Beirut. I have special guest Matt and Julie Hattabaugh on. It literally was 1 year ago today that the August 4th blast took place. And so we're going to be talking about it and hearing. Matt and Julie Hattabaugh were here in Lebanon when the situation took place, and Matt and I were in the States. And literally, I'm right here at our dining table that was shattered into a million pieces because the glass broke. And so I'm sitting right here at nearly the same time. Well, it was about 2 hours earlier when the light was on. But that happened literally a year ago. And we're so thankful that Matt and Julie were safe. And I just want to turn it over to you guys and talk about what happened and just talk about how everything just rallied together and came together on that day. In fact, I was in the States and I got a text from Julie and she says, "I just want you to know I'm okay." And I was like, "What happened?" And I don't even think, Julie, you knew what had actually happened at that point. But she says, "I just want you to know I'm okay." And then immediately after that, we just started getting pings on our phone. And come to find out, it was the blast. So I don't know whether you want to take it from there, Julie, and then go on.
Go ahead.
It's hard for us to talk about.
So it is hard. It is hard because, we love the place so much, and it was difficult to, it was difficult to see the devastation afterwards. And the story that we have is very different than the story that so many people have. But our mission house where we're sitting right now is, in fact, from where I'm facing, we're 7/10 of a mile from where the blast occurred. And Julie was about 5 kilometers away, about 3 miles away, preparing. Her and the kids were preparing for a youth event that night. And it was just a normal Tuesday. It was literally, just there wasn't that much happening. And it was, it had been a warm day. And I was at home. I was in the ministry office finishing up some work on the computer when the first explosion occurred. There were, for where I was, there were two. If you were able to hear Rafi's video, everyone thought that when the explosion occurred, it happened like right next to them. The blast was 1/5 the size of the nuclear explosion that destroyed the Japanese city of Hiroshima. It is the largest explosion in an urban environment in a non-declared war. So it was it was very devastating. A couple of weeks to maybe 10 days after the blast, I was actually getting my hair cut, and a barber said, "Oh, you're American, so you're not used to things like this." I said, "No one is used to things like this." Where Julie was, they were, although quite some distance away, the blast actually traveled, and the force of the blast destroyed all the glass in the house where they were. So,
Matt, we've got a lady right on, Cleo. She is in Cyprus, and they literally felt the blast all the way in Cyprus. And so I just hi to Cleo, but all the way to Cyprus,
which is about 120 miles away.
Wow.
And, so where Julie was, all the glass blew in on her and the kids, and none of them were hurt, miraculously. We're so thankful for that. And it's, now a year later, I look back on it, how God protected us, because the number of things that could have happened that day and didn't. And so, the blast here, where I was, there were 2 definite explosions. The first one, and then the main one that you see in the video, the looks like a giant concussive cloud sweeping over Beirut. And then it was quiet. And I walked around the mission house here, and I'm trying to get a hold of Julie and make sure she's okay. And we're, starting to go through the list. I called Rafi to see if he was okay. Here. And at the same time, I'm walking around the mission house here. I can't find anything wrong. And it doesn't make sense to me because something should be wrong. The whole house shook and nothing has happened. To our flat, and I honestly expected to see just outside, nothing there, and there's no damage, nothing. So I walk out on the balcony, and again, there's no damage. I can't see anything. I see glass on the streets. Every floor in our building, all the buildings in our neighborhood had windows blown out, had sometimes very significant damage, and some of that damage remains. The building next to us, for example, still has windows missing. Pastor Matt mentioned earlier today that we were able to expand into the floor below us because we just went to the owner and offered to repair it. So that has helped us.
And if we can mention that we're still using that for interns, and people have been donating to that project to repair that third floor that is below the mission house, fourth floor, so people can still join that. I think we need about 20,000 more to finish that in order for the interns to come. So awesome. We'll get 3 years free rent from that as well, which is a blessing.
Yeah, even though the blast, really, the blast, the coronavirus, the economic crisis that's happening in Lebanon, that's in the news, it's happening. But the other thing that's happening in Lebanon is a spiritual hunger. Their eyes are opening to see the truth, and our team is expanding and growing, and it's super exciting.
I love that, Matt. Are you frozen?
Sorry, I thought I was, but it seems like I'm live.
Our team is expanding. And you know what I've noticed? I mean, this morning I got up and I was driving, and as we were going, the place was still. There was just a feeling of mourning everywhere I went. But then whenever I started talking to some of our team members, there's still a spirit of hope. There's a spirit of faith. And I know that that's because we've been getting the word inside of them, and it's making a huge difference in a very difficult situation. If we begin explaining the situation here in Lebanon, what's happening, it's devastating. It's so devastating. And without the Lord, where would we be?
Exactly. And we're so thankful. I mean, for Julie and I, the way we experienced August 4th was it happened all around us, but God protected us. and then not only us, but he protected our entire team.
Yeah.
And what that meant is that we were in a position to begin giving aid and support through the Love Lebanon campaign. Instead of needing to receive it, God just was merciful to us and protected us. I'm so thankful for that.
Oh, we're so grateful. Yeah, because people literally rallied from around the world, Matt and Julie. From every continent, we received people asking, how can we help? The finances that came in literally 4 weeks, I think was 100,000. And then weeks after that, we were able to get 200,000. I mean, like Matt said, we're a small organization, but literally the kingdom came together for such a time as that. And that finances continues to be such a blessing to people.
So, and we had the thank God for the financial component that really made a lot of like the repair, the food aid and things that made that possible. But also, Rafi didn't share this, but the morning of August 5th, Rafi was the very first person in the shop that sold glass to secure to start putting orders in. And he made like we'll say it's a gentleman's agreement to make sure that he sold glass to us. And so there were NGOs and other organizations that were coming in. They had money, but there were no building supplies to buy. And so we had the Love Lebanon financial component, Clubton 40 partners coming in. And then we had our Lebanese team mobilizing here to make sure that we could really distribute that. And then there were other people, I don't want to talk about it in this forum, but there were other people that did amazing things to make sure that we could actually get that money, even though there's no functioning bank system here. Thank you, Pastor Jerry. And so we're so thankful for all the parts that work together that made that were able to put us in a position where we could be part of Jesus reaching out his hand to this place that he loves.
So dearly. It's amazing just to see how many things came together, and Rafi being there at that glass store, because the glass sold out so quickly, and we were able to do things. I think 15 churches, a lot of churches here aren't able to get aid or get help. And we were able to help 15 churches and businesses, I believe, which was such a blessing. And we're still going into those churches. We're still meeting with the people, with the businesses. And it's just exciting to continually, it's not just a one-off thing is what I'm trying to say. And it's a continual working. So I'm excited that we still get to be, it was that gift that has opened up hearts for us.
The stories of the people that received aid that really had no connection with us, but we, through some relationship from one of our team members, would somehow come in contact with us. They were so thankful because it seemed as if it would be impossible for them to put, for example, windows in their apartment again, or something that maybe it's easy to take for granted. And the gifts from Clubton 40, and then the working of our team here in Lebanon, it made that mountain move.
That's amazing. Well, Lebanon is still going through a crisis right now. There's situations that are happening. There's challenges. In fact, electricity goes out, mine and yours. And so this is just a proof of what happens whenever the electricity is. In fact, a lot of the Lebanese only have maybe like 2 hours of electricity a day. So, and this is a hot season. The other day I tried to go to a store here, and they said, we can't even operate because there's no diesel in the country. So lots of situations are happening. Matt, tell us how we can be part of helping the Lebanese now.
Well, I would say that there are three ways that you can make an impact in Lebanon today. We always say it this way: the primary way a Christian can have an impact in any part of the foreign mission field is to actively support your local church. Strong local churches equal strong and vibrant foreign missions. So one does not happen without the other. The second thing is just to join Clubton 40. Clubton 40 is a relational missionary movement. It doesn't receive support from any agencies or organizations. Clubton 40 is completely independent and functions by free will offerings. People can join at clubton40.com, or you can just email admin@clubton40.com. club1040.com. And you can join at any dollar amount on a regular monthly basis. And that propels the gospel forward in the least reached nations of the earth. And then the third thing you can do is you can pick up the burden to pray for this country. Maybe that's the wrong word, but if you'll help us by carrying the desire that God has for this country in prayer. And you can go to the website and find out key information of things that we're praying for, we're believing for, because we believe that we're going to see leaders raised up and trained in this nation that are not only going to affect and change Lebanon, but also the region of the Middle East and North Africa. And we're seeing it these days. And we want you to be a part of that. And you can be a part of that by joining with us on a monthly basis, by becoming a partner with Club 1040, and also by praying with us on a regular basis.
In fact, we always like to say it's the GPS. Give, pray, and serve in your local church. The best ways to help missionaries are these areas. And it's exciting to see, we're over the 22 nations of the MENA region, and we're believing God that we are going to have the most wonderful, wonderful revival in this part of the world, the final frontier. Matt and Julie, we get to be part of this final frontier, and we want you to help us be part of this final frontier so that we can see Jesus return. At the end of the day, it's all about getting Jesus back. So we're excited to be part of this, and we're excited to have you join with us. So thank you so much for joining us, Matt and Julie, for sharing. I know this is tender to all of our hearts. Thank you so much for sharing from your hearts what happened on that day. And thank you for what you do here to be part of the team. We can't do it without you guys. We can't do it without our partners. So we're so grateful. Let me just say, the rest of the Club 1040 team is going to come back on at 5 o'clock. And Caleb and Elizabeth that are working in the office, they both were just recently here. In fact, Caleb interviewed quite a few people the last 4 weeks that were helped by your Love Lebanon funds. So he's going to be talking about the firsthand experience that he had here. So we're looking forward to seeing them at 5 o'clock, and they'll be able to help you participate if you want to join Club 1040 and doing what we're doing here in this part of the world on the final frontier, so that you can join with us. Come on at 5. And again, thank you so much, Matt and Julie, for joining us here. We're going to say goodbye to everybody, and keep Lebanon in your prayers. Keep us close to your heart. This nation is so special, and we believe God, just like Isaiah 29:17 says, that this is a fruitful field, and that it's not going to be long before we're going to see everything that God wants to do in this nation just come alive, and we're expecting it with our hearts. So God bless you guys, and thank you so much.